Hey everyone, in today's video, I'll be showing you how I made this super simple sci-fi animation in Blender. In this video, I'll be breaking down my scene and overall process to hopefully give you guys a better understanding on how to get started making a simple animation. Let's get started. Alright, so for this animation, I decided to keep the background relatively simple, especially since I knew I would have moving components in my scene that could potentially slow down rendering. So for my main background, I added a plane, subdivided it a few times, and extruded it to create some walls. I also left an opening here since I knew this would be on camera and could be used to add some lights coming from that direction. Next, I modeled this base, which would have lights and cables coming out of it. Now to create this base, pretty much all I did was add a circle, reduce the number of vertices to 6 to make a hexagon, went into edit mode and extruded those edges upwards, and filled the rest in to create my base. From here, I basically just duplicated the same shape and resized it to add multiple layers. I used that same hexagon to add some rims along the edges, as well as some rings for the lights and for the cables. Now to add the cables is actually pretty easy. All I did was use curves, extrude the points by pressing E, add some depth, and once I have them positioned where I want, I convert them to a mesh so that I am able to add materials later on. Now this next part is actually the most time consuming, which is to model and rig the body. But I decided to save myself from that headache and just downloaded a free one from TurboSquid, which was already rigged. This model will also be linked down in the description if you guys want to check it out or use it in a project in the future. From here, I just roughly positioned the model in the scene before animating it. But before I can actually start animating it, I had to make these cables that are attached to the back of the head and body. To make these, I start off by extruding some vertices and creating a plane, adding some weight to a few of the vertices on both ends, add a cloth modifier, create my main cables to go over that plane, and add a surface deform modifier to that cable so that it would adapt the properties from the cloth. Now adding textures to my scene was what really brought it to life. All of my textures were 100% free and you can find them at textures.com. To add my textures, I use this method that I've shown in previous videos, which is to basically have Node Wrangler enabled, select your principled BSDF shader, then press Ctrl-Shift-T. From here I go over to the folder containing my textures, select all of them by pressing A or clicking and dragging, then click Principled Texture Setup. From here Blender will automatically set up your textures for you, then by clicking on them individually and pressing Ctrl-T, you're then able to adjust the size and position to your liking. Probably the most difficult thing about this whole animation was making this sphere that you can see moving in the background, but all I did was basically add some displacement and noise texture to add that warping effect, but I won't be going into detail about it on this video. For the lighting in this particular scene, I didn't do anything too complex since I knew that the majority of the light would be coming from the base itself and the objects in the background. My main source of light in this scene was actually an HDRI with low intensity to add some nice soft lighting. I then also imported this free model of a futuristic looking case from TurboSquid, repositioned it and added a base and a light, which then would be hooked up to the base. I then duplicated this material, changed the color, and added it to the lights on the base. Other than that, my other main sources of lights were some soft spotlights and area lights located around my main model and the background. And yeah, the final step from here was to animate the character. I used simple repeating keyframes to give the model a breathing effect as it is floating. I then selected all my keyframes, pressed T, and converted them to Bezier. And since the body is making small and slow movements, not many adjustments were required after that. So that's gonna be it for this video guys, thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram and my other socials where I post new designs and animations every single day. Also, let me know down in the comments if you guys would like to see more of these shorter videos where I break down my scenes in Blender, as well as letting me know what else you'd like to see. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.